It's time now to take a look at what's made it into the French newspapers this Friday morning with our press reviewer, Caterina Vitozzi. Caterina, thank you for joining us. Now, a lot of papers, of course, covering that tragic story of the shooting in the French Alps.
Yes, Le Parisien is one of those papers who is covering the story, as you say. The mystery of the killings, because not only is it a tragedy that these 3 British nationals were found dead along with a French cyclist in the French Alps, but it is a mystery as well. Why were they there? Who are they? Who carried out this killing? The paper has a lot of questions, not many answers at the moment. However, it does go on to say that the details of the father of the group who was found dead in the car, 50-year-old Saad Al-Hili, his life is now being gone over in acute detail, both in the French press and in the British papers, as we'll see later. Why? Well, one of the main reasons is because this looked like a very professional killing. The nature of the shooting suggests that this may not have been just a random attack. However, as I say, lots of questions, not many answers. However, in the 20 Minutes paper, they address a criticism of the French police investigation. Of course, one of the really horrible details to emerge of this case is that a 4-year-old child was found hiding underneath the body of her mother, who was in the car. It took 8 hours to find her. A lot of criticism about the French police. Why did it take so long? The 20 Minutes address these questions. They say that the police who were first on the site couldn't move the bodies. They couldn't open the car doors because they had to wait for forensic experts. Those forensic experts were coming from Lyon because that was the central control. They had a lot more equipment. They could do a really more thorough job. And the paper says, we're certain our colleagues did all they could in this tragic investigation.
Okay, a very sad story there. But moving on to other news, I'm sure there's plenty of reaction in the press to that decision from the European Central Bank to buy up government bonds from debt-ridden countries.
Yes, Libération leads with this debt. They say Europe cleaning up the mess. You can see, though, a little asterisk. Under certain conditions. So acknowledging that this has been a really forward step by the ECB chief Mario Draghi, but that there are, still a few questions, still a few uncertainties about how it will work out. But otherwise, a very, very positive response from the paper. They use language like saying this was a show of force. They called Draghi a knight coming to the rescue. And they actually say it could be a turning point in the crisis. A similar sort of positive attitude mirrored in Les Echos, the French economic daily. They say this was a strong attempt to save the euro. And it's actually the first time, they say, that investors and economists haven't been disappointed. And in fact, in an editorial inside the paper, they say that, the ECB have kept their promise. Now it's up to the politicians to do their bit to control their budget deficits and really help this positive economic step really benefit the whole Eurozone.
OK, well, moving on to the right-wing paper, Le Figaro now. They've got an exclusive interview with the man who wants to lead the French opposition.
Yes, this is François Fillon, the former French Prime Minister under President Nicolas Sarkozy. The headline here, if Hollande keeps on going along this wrong route, ... The paper investigates that ... inside, saying that basically, François Fillon's being very critical of the president's economic policy. We've just seen in Les Echos, they're saying that politicians need to do their bit for the economy. François Fillon seems to agree with that, specifically attacking Hollande for policies that haven't really freed up the labour market quite as much as François Fillon feels like it should be. Things like in the last few months, he says they've risen the minimum wage, they've decreased the retirement age. These aren't policies that will put France in a very good stead. He does go on to be very critical and say, if Hollande keeps on going like this, he's going to become France's main problem. However, it is worth pointing out that François Fillon is currently, his hat is in the ring for the leadership of the main opposition party, the UMP party. So this sort of quite statesman-like pose is probably one he would want to be seen to be taken if it is indeed what he thinks.
And just very briefly, Ian, something for some wine lovers in 20 Minutes.
Yes, this is the Paris edition of 20 Minutes. It's the grape harvesting season here, so lots of articles about wine. This is their top 10 tips to enjoy a tipple.
Very nicely said there.
Thank you very much. It's a bit of a tongue twister. They say things like, red wine should be best drunk between 15 and 20 degrees. And their little a piece of advice, water should be drunk, wine should be tasted.
Oh, well, advice we could all do with, I'm sure. Thank you very much indeed to Katerina for that look at today's French newspapers.